Hello, glad to see you. This is this month at Bethel Lutheran Church, and I'm Jennifer Johnson. I get to be the MC or whatever, but I'm going to let Jason Pearson take it here in just a minute. But first, we do need to thank Logan Street Signs and Banners and Logan Street Trophy. Noblesville Trophies. I think I was doing pretty well there for a minute. But it's almost the end of June already. So looking at, can't believe it's halfway through the year. We thank you for tuning in, and we do thank Logan Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophies. And I'm Jennifer Johnson. You can check out jennifertotherescue.com and learn a little bit about me. I like to connect people. And Bethel, I've been going to Bethel for a number of years. Jason, thank you for coming. You were actually on our show a couple years ago. Yeah, you remembered that. And Jason Pearson, you are now, are you the president?
No, used to be.
He used to be the
two terms I was
so
president.
are you like the president lame duck or something?
Yeah, I think that's
once removed.
Yeah, once removed. Almost twice removed. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you had that. That's a tough job, isn't it?
Well, it was. I'd say it was tough, but at the same time, it was very rewarding. When you get involved with council.
So he was the president of the church council.
Yes.
Yeah.
For two of the 3 years I was on council, and on council you really get a behind the scenes look of how the church runs, and it's really meaningful. Sometimes challenging, but it's very meaningful to be that involved. And being president was a very rewarding experience. One that I felt that I kind of felt myself grow up a little bit, even though I was an adult. There were a lot of decisions that needed to be made that I challenged myself, that I really wasn't prepared for, but I felt like I became a better person because of it. Being involved with church is one thing, but getting your hands dirty is a different thing. Definitely.
And you, excuse me, and you and your family, I think we talked about it 2 years ago, but tell them again, because I don't know.
So I have, I'm married to my wife Jessica, and we have 3 great kids. Trevor's 19, Grace is almost 17, and Alexi will be 12 in a few weeks.
Wow, yeah, so they are older.
And we've been at Bethel. You just turn around and they're that old.
Yeah.
We've been there for 19 years. We joined the church right around the time Trevor was born.
And then you became president of the council. I was on council for a few years, and I know exactly. I wasn't the president, and that's a tough thing to do. But it, like you said, rewarding. So your family, you said 19 years, and your kids are.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's, and I kind of shared that story too, but my son was invited to a vacation Bible school, somebody at Bethel, and that's how we ended up there, and we've been there probably, I don't know if we've been there 19 years, 20 years.
That's pretty close. I think we've been about the same length of time, yeah.
And we really, now our kids are grown up and off doing their things.
Yeah.
So where is Bethel Lutheran Church? Somebody might not know.
So if you don't know where Bethel is, it is, you head north on Cumberland. It's the corner of 206th and Cumberland. On the northeast corner, it's a great church. Lots of programs that we use to reach out to the community and help our congregation grow.
Yeah, it's always growing, and we've got all kinds of things happening. I know. We'll talk about a lot of different stuff. First, we kind of talk about where it is. It's where you come up the hill. This big at night what is it, steeple?
Yeah. Steeple's lit up.
It's beautiful. But there's a peace trail around it.
Right. We've been working on the peace trail for a couple of years. It was several Eagle Scouts have put their effort into their projects, and the peace trail is kind of the biggest item to really embrace all of our property that we have.
And there's benches and different things along the way.
Trees, flowering trees and shrubs, and quite a bit to just make it's a peaceful walk. You can go out and jog for a little, and just enjoy the trail.
It's gorgeous, and I know there's a number of acres that we're not really even using, right? But
correct.
It's a beautiful setup, and so that's going on the outside. So I know there's a lot of stuff always going on the inside. So what do you got?
You mentioned VBS. That's wrapping up, I believe, tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So right in the middle of VBS, and it's been kind of fun. I was, with a young family, you kind of get involved with the VBS, and I did that for 10, 12 years. And now it's kind of interesting to see how that's changed hands, and now some of the high school are some of our strong leaders there. It's been fun to see that happen as well.
Yeah.
What else do we have going on? We have the food and baby pantry is today and until 1 o'clock. And let's see. We just wrapped up our rummage sale.
Yes.
Our annual Barbara Blackford rummage sale. It's a big fundraiser, and this year we raised. It's now going to be consistently Father's Day weekend.
Oh.
That way, it just consistently, instead of having a floating schedule, be Father's Day, the Thursday or the Friday and Saturday Father's Day weekend. Makes it easy to do signage and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they raised over $17,000 this year.
And so this event, just you mentioned Barbara Blackford, because I remember Barbara well. She just wanted to do something for the church. She was a lovely older woman who has been gone a number of years now. I can't believe how long. But anyway, she wanted to do something, couldn't actually give money, so she organized this rummage sale, right?
Right, and I believe the first one raised $500. It was, and they thought that was a huge success. And so to look and see where we've come so many years later.
I was going to say, how many years has it been going for you guys?
I think they said in the mid to upper 20s.
Oh,
maybe.
Really? Okay.
I know it was at the old church.
I didn't know
in
that.
Cicero before it came here, and just before then. So it's been over 20 years.
And so they that's amazing, because I didn't know it's been going on that long. But I mean, it takes so much preparation. Now that the whole church, every room has got some different classification of clothing or men's or women's or bikes or whatever. Outdoor things are usually outside, right?
Yeah, and I remember it was one of the first big events when my kids were little that we got involved in as a family. It was a big event it was kind of a big turning point for me with getting involved with the church.
Yeah.
And one summer a few years ago, it kind of hit me how important the rummage sale is. That it hits multiple facets. I mean, one, you're cleaning out your closet for two, or your home, and so working the rummage sale, you see everybody's junk, and you see it as a lot of it as junk, and then you see all of the Bethel people coming together to work and sort, and so making a lot of new friends, and because of the different service times, you don't always see everybody, and so meeting some new faces. But then when you open up your doors to the sale, and you see how what I thought was junk truly is someone's treasure. They look forward to this event, and when you do it long enough, you see the same people that count on this rummage sale every year. Some people are buying furniture for their college kids' dorm or apartment, but a lot of people, they're buying, this is an upgrade. And then whatever we don't sell, then is donated. And we donated to a couple of different organizations, but the last few years we've been giving it all to Goodwill. And to know that that's going to be repurposed again it's just, at first it's just a rummage sale where you're making money, but it's not that. It's bigger than that. Right.
And the rummage sale is lots of stuff. They even have a food.
Yeah, we have a food, a barbecue food tent, if you will. That's a fundraiser for youth trips. Like we go to Boundary Waters or summer camp, which I think the high school youth are taking a full busload of kids up to Lake Louise in northern Michigan, July 7th through 12th.
So that's
which is
coming
a fantastic.
Up. So that's where some of the money. I think that is a good question to ask. Where does all the money? Obviously, well, and I'm kind of going off the thing, but Bethel has so many things that it's. I mean, I think we've had. People talk about, isn't there like 26 missions outside the church, something like that?
It keeps
something
changing.
Like
changing to the positive, 26, 27, 28 missions that they're involved in.
So there's all these things within the church that the church needs money for, but they also give to 26 outside. So, oh my gosh, you're thinking. So I know that some of the money, at least the food, goes toward the youth, but they probably designate some of the other.
And not being
17,000 is
that's
amazing.
Quite a bit. And I'm not sure exactly where the funds go this year. Oftentimes they earmark it ahead of time, but that was not sure exactly.
When you were the president, you had to know
Yeah,
that
I had
stuff.
to know
You
that
don't
stuff.
need to know
No,
that
I've
stuff.
loosened, I've let go. It's somebody else's
You've
concern.
let it go, yeah. So, you know what, and I've just kind of gone off the deep end,
That's
but
okay.
there's a lot of things I think people do need to know. Before you go, what are the church service times? So, I mean,
Church.
you can come to any of these events,
Yeah.
but it's also good to know when are the church services.
We have 3 church services.
Mhm.
We have Saturday night at 5:30. Very relaxed service.
Yes.
I think that's one that
Typically, yes, yeah.
And then we have 8:45 on Sunday morning, which is more of a traditional service. And then we have an 11:11 service, which 11:11, 11 o'clock never started on time, so.
It's actually pretty funny when you think about it. 11:11,
Yeah.
but I mean, how can you forget that?
Yeah, that's
you
right.
can't. So, go ahead. So,
And then so that's that's a contemporary style service. And then during the school year, we have our Sunday school hour from 10 to 11. During the summertime, we still are continuing adult Sunday school classes. We have 3 adult Sunday school classes going on right now. We have a Loose Links, which they're studying Travel Guide to Heaven.
oh,
And then
interesting.
I tag team and Ask the Question Sunday school class, where you write down questions that could be life-related, Bible-related, or politics, whatever it might be. If you have a question that you want to study, and then we'll see how it relates to the Bible, you drop it in a bucket, pull the question out at the end of class, study it for the week, and discuss it the next week.
Interesting.
And that's always a spirited group. And then we have our third Bible study is focused on our summer sermon series, which is the Gospel of Mark. So they're digging into the Gospel of Mark each Sunday.
So you got a lot of choices. There was something you were saying there. So we've got those, and then you were talking about we've got a lot of groups that meet, but you also have some special services that you had just mentioned, something about July.
Typically, we have a healing service at 7 p.m. The first Wednesday of the month. Because the 4th of July is on a Wednesday this year, that kind of disrupts, I think, this show and that service.
A lot,
so,
yeah.
So we are going to be having the healing service will be July 11th at 7 p.m. And that's a lot of people get there's a lot of great things that have happened from healing services.
And you do that once a month.
Once a month.
Typically the first Wednesday.
First Wednesday, typically.
But I know I participated when Pastor Doug did it number of years ago, and he was only doing like one in the fall or something like that. But it was amazing because as a participant, if you think about it, we all have things we need healing, depending on whether. But it was amazing, all the different people that came, and just thinking about how we all have something.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I remember that several years ago, we've had some major health concerns for different congregational members, and so there was kind of, I don't want to say on the fly, but it was kind of an impromptu service that was held. And I remember we went in, had a laying of the hands, and then all of a sudden it happened again. And it seemed like it was one of those things that was very meaningful, helpful, and a blessing to so many people. But then you start realizing of all the hurts that people have.
Right.
And anything, it's not just, a traumatic event or a major upcoming surgery. There are lots of things that people need healing from.
Right.
And so I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of where that grew, that it was such an important thing that it became a monthly service.
I'm sure, and it's very cool to think that he's doing it once a month. That's really neat. What else do you have?
Well, you mentioned things that we do outside.
Yes.
Some of the missions we do. We have our backpack ministry, which is coming up, which is ongoing right now. We collect school supplies for White River Elementary School and Hamilton Heights, their elementary schools. So all the supplies are collected, and then backpacks are created with all the supplies and then donated to those 2 schools, or I think it's actually 3 elementary schools. And so that's been going on for longer than I can count as well. And
as far as doing it every year.
Yeah, that's an annual event that's coordinated. I know Terry Gass has been big with that, but that's been really important for those particular schools.
Cool.
Let's see, what else do we have going on? Speaking of special groups, I thought this was kind of fun. We have a creative spirits ministry, which is focused on crocheting and knitting. So if we've got a little bit of something for everybody. They're going to be meeting on July 2nd at 6:30 p.m. So I thought that was kind of fun to highlight that group as well.
One thing we haven't mentioned is if you check BethelLutheranChurch.com, it's actually on the screen. We usually say it a few times. I completely forgot to even mention it. But all this stuff,
all of this is on there.
It should all be on there. And there might even be the information on the rummage sale or something. And the fact that, there we go. We're looking at the website right now. And that's an invaluable resource if you can check out. We got the preschool sign-ups. And isn't that what that is? That's oh boy. Can't believe it. We're already looking at that, but I know how fast time goes. Go ahead.
I've got one more thing this is probably the most important thing for this week that I almost forgot about.
Better do it.
This week, starting today, is Serve Noblesville.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't know anything about Serve Noblesville, it's where neighbors, churches, businesses, organizations get together for community projects, anything from helping a neighbor put on a new roof, rebuilding the brick sidewalks, just cleaning up a neighbor's yard. They do lots of events throughout the community. And this Friday, Bethel and Green Valley Church are hosting the day. So,
cool.
Yeah.
So okay. I don't know that you need to. What do they do to host it? Do they supply food and stuff?
Well, they gather. I don't know the particulars this year, but I know that typically they gather at the fairgrounds, and then that's where they get their assignments, and then they disperse from there. But before they get started, they have a quick service.
Oh, okay.
And Bethel will be leading the service and bringing breakfast, usually coffee and donuts.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
So by hosting, they are leading the service, the praise service that kicks off the day. So everybody gathers, and then they get work.
Is that Joe Rudy that kind of heads that up for Bethel, and
he does. He's our point person.
Yeah, very cool. The other thing, I don't know, here in my head, very cool. I think Pastor Doug says that or something. I don't know. You mentioned, we have a few more minutes here. You mentioned the food pantry. We are one of the few churches that has a baby pantry.
Right.
Is that not correct? Okay.
There's several food pantries, but I think we're one of the only baby pantries.
So if somebody walks in, I don't know if you know this, Jason, I'm not trying to quiz you, but they could actually, you said it was open today. It's not open every day, right?
And I have to admit defeat on this one. Definitely check the schedule on the calendar.
And then it should be on the website.
Yeah, and I know that it's Wednesdays and Saturdays. I don't know if it's every Wednesday and Saturday, but I know it's Wednesdays and Saturdays.
And I would definitely believe that Bethel has somebody in the office there that if you know somebody who needs that, they can tell you how to get.
Right.
Because I know that it's not necessarily, I don't mean to discourage anybody, but I don't think it's just walk in the door and get food. Isn't it something where you have to...
I know that I don't know what the parameters are, but I do know that it's fairly flexible. And
we, and this really doesn't have anything to do with Bethel, but I have a group I'm part of, and we did some stuff with the Hamilton County Harvest Food Bank, and the numbers are there's 28,000 people. This is in Hamilton County. I mean, this is not like, this is Hamilton County. 28,000 people who are food insecure, who don't know where their next meal's coming from. So, I'm sure there's all kinds of people who need. And
I think that's one of the things I love about Noblesville is that we have that small town feel. And one of the things that I think I'm going off the script a little bit, that I think we've been protected, and we don't really see all the issues that Hamilton County really has. I mean, when you mentioned that, I don't think most of us see that on a regular basis, but it is prevalent.
It is. There's all kinds of things, but that just floored me. And the Hamilton County Harvest Food Bank actually supplies to food pantries like Bethel, but obviously, if you've got donations, they need your donations because it doesn't just magically appear. So the Bethel Food Pantry and the Baby Pantry are just so important.
They really are.
To have everything, to have it being open on a regular basis, obviously, and I know that's always been a challenge to have somebody manning it. So anyway, we definitely want you to look at BethelLutheranChurch.com. Is there anything, Jason? I hate to put you on the spot.
Oh, there's one last fun event.
Oh, go for it.
We have Symphony on the Prairie. The June 29th. We're taking, I believe, I think there's still sign-ups available to be a part of a group ticket purchase for Symphony on the Prairie, June 29th.
So you know what, you could come and visit Bethel this weekend. There's services, and then you could just get a taste. But then you could get tickets to go to the. And before long you'll be one of us.
Yeah,
sounds kind of scary, doesn't it? I say, oh, you're going to be one of us. I always kind of Leanne Burrow. Usually, she's probably been the most prevalent. She has been on, but I always quiz her, or not quiz her, but what final words of wisdom, and it might be a Bible verse or maybe something, and she usually comes up with something. So come on, Jason, what you got?
Words of wisdom,
or a Bible verse or something that maybe. And you know what? It doesn't have to be anything. What would you leave us with when it's coming? In reference to Bethel, what would you? Is there something that always, you said you were the president and you were very inspired. You grew up, you got inspired. It wasn't always a challenge. I know it was a challenge sometimes, but what is it about? Maybe something about Bethel, or just something about...
It's funny. I just ran into someone last night who used to go to Bethel, and we just were catching up. And one of the things that I left that conversation was, Bethel was the first church I ever joined, 19 years ago. And I felt like I've grown up in that church. Like, I was an adult, but I was, 23 years old. And when I got on council, I felt like I was pretending to be an adult. And then when you look at the former presidents, there's some strong people that have been presidents. And then to say that to be asked to serve in that role, and I'm just a teacher. I'm not a prominent individual. That was I've really felt that the church has helped shape me, has really helped shape who I am, and then to lead an adult Sunday school class. I feel like saying president's one thing, but to be to be an adult Sunday school leader to help adults grow in their faith as well. Being a teacher is great. It's a very rewarding job, but having a hand in those conversations with adults has been very rewarding and helped me see some gifts that I didn't realize that I had. So I think that those two things have been really, really meaningful. That you can go to church and you can sing and you can volunteer your time, but really getting involved in the church and involved with the people really causes me to pause and reflect and see how far I've grown as a person.
A lot of the members, I think, could probably say that they've had similar, because and Bethel kind of gets under your. No, I don't want to say that. Not under your skin. Gets into your soul. I should say.
It can get under your skin too. Because there's people involved, right?
Right. And the human thing is always going to be. But I do think that there's something. A lot of us can say. We went through a lot at Bethel. We
have, and that was part of the conversation that I had. That we have been through a lot, but at the same time, it's the people that have kept me there.
Oh, definitely.
And we've had changes in staff and whatnot, but it is really a family.
It is.
In its truest sense. Some days I don't, some days I'm not really happy with my family, but I still love them. And I feel like that's what has happened to me at Bethel. It is from top to bottom, it's a family.
It is.
And I appreciate I appreciate having them.
Yes, well, I guess I would just leave it with that. Please come out and visit us at Bethel. I mean, that's how can you
Absolutely.
get a better endorsement than that? I mean, that's great. And we thank you very much for tuning in. Definitely check out BethelLutheranChurch.com, and you can always call them. Somebody will point you in the right direction.
Certainly.
It's 317-773-4315. And once again, thank you to Logan Street Signs and Banners and Noblesville Trophies for being our gracious hosts. And you go out and, it's 4th of July next week, so enjoy your time. Before we know it, it'll be the fall again. I can't believe how fast time goes by. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds
and Jason,
great.
thanks for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.